Okay, for today's health topic, I want to talk about salt and I want to talk about sugar. Okay, so let's go to the clip first because one of my favorites, researcher and PhD Ben Bickman, explains it perfectly. So take a listen.
Humans cut back their salt considerably, they become insulin resistant. So take a healthy group of humans, say you need to eat less salt, and they do so. If you measure them a week later while they're adhering to this, they will be significantly more insulin resistant than before they ever cut back their salt. It's one of the ironies of the whole scenario where a physician may be telling a patient with high blood pressure, you need to cut back your salt. And they end up eating less salt, and yet their blood pressure gets worse. It's because the main contributor to high blood pressure is insulin resistance, and by telling them to cut back on their salt, you made them more insulin resistant. And that whole mechanism is because one of insulin's many, many effects is to want the body to hold on to salt and water. And so if you start cutting your salt, all of a sudden insulin says, well, there's little salt coming in. I need to do what I can to retain whatever salt we do have. And so it starts retaining salt and water more in order to try to offset the lack of salt coming in. And while insulin's going higher and higher, the body's becoming more and more insulin resistant.
Oh boy, this is such a ball of wax, And you know what causes water retention? Oh, blood pressure medication. It's like, oh my gosh. So here's the thing. I learned a long time ago from one of my teachers, Dr. Joe Wallach, taught about salt and the lie of how salt causes hypertension, right? The lack of salt is what many people are dealing with their stomach acid. They have been told, oh, you have GERD or you have indigestion or heartburn and you need to take this PPI to be able to resolve it. And the truth of the matter is that you're low on salt. And salt helps you build your stomach acid. So it's not that you have too much acid. It's actually that you don't have enough acid in your stomach to make sure it stays in place. Right? Because you can have some of the acid reflux that comes up. That's because you don't have enough acid to keep it in place, which is down, right, in the stomach area. So there's so many lies in the web of deceit when it comes to this. I also want to talk about sugar because sugar is toxic, as I have said many times before. But I do want to make the difference between natural sugar and added sugar, because a lot of people have asked me about this. It's like, well, dairy, because I'm a big promoter of full-fat dairy, because dairy is a wonderful source of protein, and the body needs lots of protein, right, in order to maintain the hunger hormone and the satiety hormone functioning properly. When we're talking about weight, when we're talking a lot about health markers, we do have to try to decode where the hormones are, because insulin's a hormone, right? Ghrelin's a hormone, leptin's a hormone. And when any one of these hormones is off, it can throw everything off balance. And you get spikes in cortisol that wake you up in the middle of the night at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you're getting too much, insulin, you have insulin resistance where you can't. So it's important to remember that the body is synergistic. Right? And it's not about just one thing. Oh, if I just take this supplement, if I just do this, if I just do that. It doesn't work that way. It's about curating a lifestyle, right? That promotes optimum health. And so number one thing you can do is get all the fake food out of your life, right? Dairy's not a fake food. And yes, it has natural sugar in milk, right? Lactose is a natural sugar in milk. But here's the difference. It's a natural sugar that's balanced by nutrients. So it's not the same as added sugar. Added sugars like high fructose corn syrup They're added during processing or preparation, especially in pop or cereals, baked goods, anything that comes like, bag of cookies, box of cookies, and they're rapidly absorbed, and it spikes your blood sugar and your insulin. And there's not a lot of added nutritional value to that type of added sugar. It contributes to inflammation. It contributes to insulin resistance. It causes fatty liver, and then weight gain as well. So added sugars are not naturally part of whole foods, and they don't bring nutrients. So they're purely for taste and entertainment. Okay? Natural sugars are not harmful for the body. They come packaged with nature's buffer system, if you will. So natural sugars in food like fruit, dairy, and vegetables, they're accompanied by fiber. They have water in them. They have vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and this slows down how quickly sugar is absorbed into your bloodstream. And it prevents the rapid spikes and crashes caused by, say, things like unnatural sugars or refined sugar. So like eating an apple with fiber, pectin, and antioxidants, it causes a gentle rise in blood sugar, whereas drinking apple juice causes a sharp spike. And that's a difference. Apple juice is highly processed, right? So, what we've done in this way of like taking what occurs naturally and synthesizing it into another food group or a food product, that's the problem. That's the problem. So your body knows how to handle natural sugars. They're simple energy sources, glucose and fructose that your body uses to fuel cells, muscles, and brain function. And when they're consumed in whole foods, your liver and pancreas can manage this steady supply without strain. So problems arise only when we overload the system with added or refined sugars that flood the bloodstream too quickly. They're paired with nutrients that support metabolism. So whole fruits, root vegetables, and dairy all contain nutrients that aid sugar metabolism, like magnesium, like potassium, like B vitamins. And these nutrients help insulin function properly and reduce oxidative stress. Refined sugars, on the other hand, they deplete these nutrients. So not only are they not providing you nutrients, but they rob you of nutrients at the same time. So they actually leave your body in a deficit. They don't add anything. They also natural sugar doesn't trigger addiction like the way we do with processed sugars. Because processed sugars are engineered to hit the brain's dopamine centers, just like a drug. And make no mistake about it. Things like, toaster pastries and all these processed foods, they are formed in laboratories. Again, these ideas are hatched at a corporate table somewhere, where people say, what could we sell the people more of? I bet you can't just eat one. Health is low on the list. It is low on the list. And the way these foods, how come the FDA allows foods like this? How come because it's pay to play. And they get away with it when they say, well, when eaten in moderation, right? But what they don't tell you, it's safe when it's eaten in moderation. And they get approval on one product. It's safe when it's eaten in moderation. What they don't look at is the fact that people are eating multiple of those products every single day, and nobody's eating a quarter cup of cereal for breakfast. Nobody's eating half a cup of cereal for breakfast, right? Nobody's measuring it out. You're pouring a whole bowl of cereal. You're probably eating 4 or 5 servings of what's recommended to be safe and healthy. Like, context is everything. Natural sugar is only bad when it's extracted, so dehydrated. Like I always use this example. You can eat a whole bowl of grapes, a big mixing bowl of grapes, right? And it'll have 15 grams of sugar in it. And but if you eat like a good fistful of raisins, you're looking at 100 grams of sugar. So it's because it's condensed. The water's taken out of it. Nature is taken out of it. When we take nature out of our food, it leads to problems. So think about that. The real enemy is not necessarily like all sugar. It is the isolation and the processing of sugars. Nature takes care of things. It's really a marvel. If you get into it like a dork like I do, it is a marvel, because it works in synergy. Nature works in synergy with your biology, and it knows exactly what to do with the information of whole food that you feed it with. The problem is all this processed food, your body doesn't know what to do with that. And when it doesn't know what to do with that, it puts up with it for years and years and years because it's so incredible and so resilient. But at some point, the bucket gets overfilled and it just starts, overflowing with inflammation, with dysfunction. And then we get told, oh, stay away from salt. That's your problem. Salt. No, it isn't. It's sugar. It's sticky blood. It's glycation. And because you have no salt and you're not hydrating with salt, you're dehydrated because you actually need salt to pull it into the cell to hydrate the body. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And I don't know how we got so misinformed. Actually, I do know how we got so misinformed because of consumerism. We are super consumers, and that wasn't by accident. Edward Bernays is the godfather of that, spawning, matching, partnering entertainment with food, right? Tying your favorite cartoon characters to your breakfast cereal. It's your emotions, people. Your emotions are constantly being weaponized against you. Constantly. It's not your fault. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then it's time to act. Join us, the Naturally Inspired community. For those of you joining us tonight on the Red Pill, we'll see you in a couple hours. Everybody else, see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock right here.